Oh, thanks for coming back. So for our proposal video, which if you're smart you would have already seen, we decided on 3 questions that need to be answered. In this video, which you're watching right now, is the answer to those 3 questions.
The first question is, how likely are you to get a genetic disorder? The answer to this question is you have a 50% chance of getting a genetic disorder if both parents are carriers.
Our second question was how many people are in each level of genetic disorders. We looked and we were unable to find the answer to this question.
Our last question of today is that how likely are you to get a genetic disorder in a certain race or gender? The answer to this question is that to get a genetic disorder, it's most commonly in Latin Americans and Indians. So Sam, what do you know about cystic fibrosis?
Cystic fibrosis is a genetic disease that's inherited from the mother and father. It has to do with the chromosomes and is a digestive and lung function disease. Often patients have mucus buildup. It requires daily chest PT and enzymes to help them digest their food better. And at this point, there is no cure.
How did you come across it?
My twin sister was born with cystic fibrosis 22 years ago. When she was born, the life expectancy was about 18, which my family was not okay with. So there really wasn't much information available about cystic fibrosis, not a lot of genetic research going on. So to help fund research, my family started a fundraiser when we were born. It's now its 22nd year. We've raised over $1 million that goes directly to genetic research for cystic fibrosis. Last year we raised $110,000. And my sister is healthy, and the life expectancy has went from 18 to about 37 to 40 in the short time that we've been alive, so it can only get better from here.
Okay, and what's the at-home life like?
Growing up, my sister has to have chest PT every day, depending on her health and how her lung function is for that time period. It can either be 1 to 3 physical therapy sessions. So the physical therapy consists of the lobes on her chest. She has them on her chest, on her front, chest on her back, and then her sides. So it's about 2 minutes per lobe of chest percussion to help loosen up the mucus in her lungs. Also, after she does the chest percussion, she will use a nebulizer like asthma patients that will also help clear up the lung mucus. With every meal, she has to take enzymes to help her digest her food because there's a lot of digestive problems with cystic fibrosis patients and pancreatic problems. So that's something that she has to do. She also takes ibuprofen to reduce the swelling in her lungs daily. She takes about 2,000 to 3,000 milligrams of ibuprofen a day. And then there's always a risk for pneumonia with CF patients and also flu. So every year I have to get every flu vaccine available, so I will not get my sister sick, because anyone with a lung condition, flu or pneumonia, is really detrimental to their health.
Okay, thank you.
Stan, how do you know about cystic fibrosis?
Well, I learned about it at a very young age because I had been living with my grandmother. My family had moved in with her, and my cousin Brian was also living with my grandmother at the time. And I one day asked my grandmother why there was a lady that kept coming in every day and was beating on my cousin Brian's chest and back. That's when she sat me down, and she had this little children's book all about CF. And she sat me down, and she made me read it from cover to cover. It wasn't very long. It was like 20 pages, but it was just to kind of explain what CF is and why certain things were happening to my cousin and why he had to go to the doctors so much. My cousin Brian, he's had it obviously his whole life, and he has since then the technology has gotten a little bit more sophisticated. He doesn't have to have that lady come in and beat on his chest. He has a nice little vest that he can wear. He also has a lot of medication that he has to take every day. And again, he still has a lot of hospital visits. Like a couple weeks ago, actually, he was in the hospital because he had to have because he had slacked off on his treatments a little bit, so he had to go in and he had to go in and have his lungs cleaned out because he hadn't done his treatments and he wasn't keeping up with it. So it's a really scary thing, especially if somebody that you love and they're not taking care of themselves.
So Sam, what do you know about
Or not.
It did. Oh, I was supposed to ask a question.
I already